Hi everybody, welcome to our lecture video on section 7.3, the percent equation. So for this section, what we're going to use is lots of percents to solve different problems. So the first thing we're going to do is a little bit of quick math, where we can quickly find 10%, 25%, 50%, or 100% of something by converting those percents to fractions and using some division, okay? So 10% would be 10 out of 100. So that would simplify to 1/10. So that means that doing 10% of something is the same as dividing by 10. For 25%, 25% would be 25 over 100, which would simplify to 1/4. That means that if you want to find 25% of something, it's the same as just dividing by 4. 50% of something, well, that would be 50 over 100, which would simplify to 1/2. So that means that 50% of something is the same as dividing by 2. And 100% would be 100 over 100, which would be 1. It would be all of something. So 100% of something is the same as all of it. Okay? It's just the same as the something, okay? It's the same as the starting value. So let's do a couple of these real quick. Use your estimation skills and percent shortcuts. We're going to use these percent shortcuts that I have above to find the following. So it says find 50% of 400 people. So I'm going to use my percent shortcut to do 50%, which is the same as dividing by 2. And I'm just going to do 400 divided by 2, which would be 200 people. So 50% of 400 would be 200 people. Find 25% of $80. Well, 25% is the same as dividing by 4. So what I'm going to do is use a percent shortcut and do $80 divided by 4, which would be $20. Find 100% of 25 questions. If you got 100 on your quiz and you had 25 questions, that means you get every single one of them right. So that means that you got 25 questions right out of the 25 questions. And find 10% of 8,900 days. I'm going to use my percent shortcut and do 8,900 divided by 10, which would be 890 days. So 10% of 8,900 days would be 890 days. Okay, so there's some percent shortcuts for you, some of these quick ones. But what if you don't have a nice pretty one like that that's simplified to an easy fraction? Okay? Sometimes we need to make percent equations so that we can solve for things that we don't know. So the main keywords you're going to get in this section are of, is, and some sort of a how many or kind of a question. You're going to have some sort of an unknown value. So the of in your equation is just an indication to multiply. The is means what it has all along. That's your equal sign. And the unknown value, however they choose to express that, is going to be your variable. So I'm going to use these keywords to create equations and then use those equations to solve for unknown value. So in my next one it says, how many quarts is 25% of 0.8 quarts? So how many quarts, that's my unknown value. That's going to be my variable. So I'll just use x for my variable. You can use whichever one you'd like to. Is a keyword for equals 25% of means multiplication. So I'm going to do 25% times 0.8 quarts. Okay, so now I've made it into an equation. I can solve that. to solve with these percent equations, you are going to need to convert percents to decimals so that we can do the arithmetic. So 25% as a decimal would be 0.25. So now I've got x equals 0.25 times 0.8. Okay? So to solve for x, all I've got to do is multiply. And if you multiply 0.25 times 0.8, you get 0.2. So my answer would be 0.2 quarts. So if you notice, it does have the same units as we started out with. Okay? Let's do another one. 85% of 300 calories is how many calories? So I've got 85%. Of is my multiplication word, so times 300. Is my equal sign. How many calories? That's what I don't know. That's my variable. So if I want to solve it here, I'm going to turn my 85% to a decimal, so that's 0.85. So then I have 0.85 times 300 equals x. So then to solve for x, all I need to do is multiply. 0.85 times 300 is 255. So that means that the missing number of calories would be 255 calories. Okay, let's do some more. My next one says 12% of what amount is 60 cents. So I'm going to start out with 12% of, so that's my multiplication, so times what amount? So I'm going to multiply by a variable. Is my equal sign 60 cents, so 0.60. Okay, just like normal, to solve this, I am going to need to convert 12% to a decimal. So now I've got 0.12 times x equals 0.60. Then if I want to solve for x, what I'll do is I need to get rid of the 0.12. It's multiplied by the x. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide by 0.12 on both sides. 0.12 divided by 0.12 is 1. So now I've got 1x equals 0.60 divided by 0.12 is 5. So 12% of what amount is 60 cents? My units are in dollars. So my answer is $5. Okay, and if you want to double check yourself, you could do 0.12 times 5 and make sure that that actually equals 60 cents. Okay, let's do another one. 13 students is 650% of how many students? I'm going to give you guys a minute. I want to see if you can write the equation for this one. So pause your video, see if you can write the equation for it. And I'll show you the equation in 3, 2, 1. The equation should look like 13 equals 650% times x. How'd you do? Okay. If you haven't solved it yet, let's go ahead and solve it. 650% as a decimal is 6.5. So now I've got 13 equals 6.5x. Then to solve for x, we'll divide both sides by 6.5. And 13 divided by 6.5 is 2. So I'll have 2 equals x. And that means that my answer is 2 students. All right, next one says, what percent of 12 pounds is 9 pounds? So now we're solving for the percent. So what percent, that's my variable. I like to put a little percent sign so I remember that I'm solving for a percent. Of 12 pounds, so multiplied by 12, is 9 pounds, so equals 9. So if I want to solve for x, I'm going to divide both sides by 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1, so now I will have that missing percent equal to 9 divided by 12, which is 0.75. Now, you'll notice that this answer is as a decimal, but they're asking for a percent. What percent? So I do need to convert this from a decimal to a percent. So to convert from a decimal to a percent, you'll multiply by 100%, and you'll get 75% as an answer. All right, last one says 78 credit hours is what percent of 65 credit hours? I'm going to let you guys try this one all on your own. So pause your video, see if you can write the equation, and then see if you can solve the equation and even write that answer as a percent. So go ahead and pause your video, give that one a try, and I will give you the answer here in 3, 2, 1. Your equation should look like 78 equals X percent times 65. Once you solve it, you're going to get 1.2 equals X percent, which means that our answer is 120%. How'd you do? Alright, hopefully you guys did alright on these. If you have questions, please let me know. Hope you have a wonderful week.